Earlier this week, two people made their first visit to the island to complete a story that we first talked about on this programme back in June, when it was announced that the team of volunteers who run the Big Table, providing a 3-course community lunch every Monday with no set charge, were the first recipients of a brand new Cathedral Volunteer of the Year Team Award. The award has been made by the Association of English Cathedrals, and their executive director, Anna Pitt, came to the island and to the Big Table last Monday to actually present the award. Afterwards, I had a chance to chat with Anna and her colleague Jane Bauer as they shared their impressions of the Big Table. But first, I was interested to find out more about the work of the Association of English Cathedrals and how the Isle of Man comes to be involved.
The association is a membership body of cathedrals. Very recently, we've welcomed more than just English cathedrals into our membership. So obviously we've got the Isle of Man and also a couple of Welsh cathedrals and a Scottish cathedral. The value of the association is in the networking. We can support, we offer training, we can work out and work through what are some of the big issues in the cathedral sector and how can we centrally resource some of those cathedrals.
What we hope that we can achieve with the support project that we run is to tell people the story of the cathedrals and their role in the community that they serve. And that looks very different from city to city, from cathedral to cathedral. Here, the Big Table Cafe feels like it's the perfect place to be. In the community it serves, it had a vibrant team of people. One of them had been there at 7 o'clock in the morning peeling potatoes. Somebody else popped in at lunchtime because that was the time he could get out of work to come and help with the washing up. It felt so well-oiled and so smooth, really. Really lovely to see that. We go to another cathedral we have over in Coventry. They came second in the team award, a very much smaller group of people who brought together because they all have a skill, which is restoring furniture. So they're part of a craft project team, but that's a very, very different mission to the Big Table Cafe. Well, the other element of that which really struck us was the companionship, giving people support. So the people coming in, they weren't just coming in, getting a meal and off they went. They were sharing, they were breaking bread. They had friendships there, and I thought that was really powerful. All our cathedrals are different and they all work in their own context. And that's really, really important. And what the Isle of Man Cathedral does here, and what we discovered, having been here only for a couple of days, is it's working its own context in a really beautiful way that is meaningful to the people that it serves, the communities, not just those of faith, but those of no faith and all faiths. And that's a really powerful message about the life and ministry of our cathedrals.
Now, coming back to you, Anna, when you were looking at these awards, incidentally, the first time that you have made these awards, you weren't looking at where the work was being done, but looking more at what work was being done. And as Jane touched on there, is it working? Is it serving what the community needs?
We were overwhelmed with the number of nominations that we had for this first year of the awards. Jane and I, with a colleague from Lichfield Cathedral and our sponsor from Newgate Finance, met together at Derby Cathedral actually to go through all the nominations. It was incredibly emotional and heartwarming to read through the spectrum of work that volunteers are doing, the hours of work, the hundreds of hours of work that volunteers are giving. We were reading these nominations blind. We'd redacted, so we didn't know which cathedral we were reading about. We didn't read the nomination for the Big Table Cafe and think, that's good work for the Isle of Man. We read the nomination and thought, that's good work for the entire cathedral sector. That's a standout piece of work, and we have to award. And we have to go and see this, and we have to go and meet these people and see what's happening there and see it in action. And I can't tell you how delighted we are that we've flown over and seen that. A group of people who just opens their doors, their arms, their hearts every week. And we felt that, and I couldn't have been happier to have been part of that, even just for a day. The one final thing I would want to say is about the quality and the effort. So what struck me wasn't that you can come in here and over there is where you go and get your dinner, and over there just grab your cutlery on the way. This was a please come in and sit down. We've already set the table. There are placemats, there's napkins, there's cutlery is already there, there's glasses, there's a menu, there's salt and pepper. This is like going into a restaurant. People are served at the table. There was just a care and an elevated level of hospitality that was on offer, and I have to say, the quality of the food matched the quality of the welcome.
Nobody sat on their own. Many people did come in on their own, but they weren't on their own for long. Somebody always went to sit with them, have a chat to them, and that companionship, that love, that demonstration of Christian love, I thought was really remarkable. There's no pressure on people to give money for the food. It was pay as you can. That's another really beautiful element of the Big Table Cafe.
There is at every place a little brown envelope. So everybody hands in a little brown envelope when they leave. Yeah. They are not obliged to put anything in it. Nobody knows whether there's anything in that envelope or nothing.
And there's a dignity to that.
Anna, you are a hub for cathedrals, a base for knowledge and for support. Do you have times when you bring representatives from cathedrals together?
Yeah, we absolutely do. We do a lot of opportunities for kind of day conferences. So we did one at the end of last year for cathedral music. What we're working on at the moment is really exciting. So that's our National Cathedral Conference, which will take place in Bristol in May 2026. And we're working on a piece of research at the moment that's looking at the spiritual, social, economic and cultural impact of cathedrals. So at our conference in May in Bristol, we'll be able to launch that piece of research. And what we will end up with there is a report that can inform our national conversations about the place of cathedrals in our society, in our community, the value. But also that report can go to every individual cathedral so that when they're having local conversations about developing partnerships or funding applications, shared projects, they've got a piece of physical evidence that says this is the value that having a cathedral within a community can bring. This is the economic value, or it's the social value, the cultural value. And I know that the Isle of Man is doing at the cathedral, all of that is happening. I've seen spiritual outreach work. I've seen the work that was done with the Moon Project, the Lord's Prayer. I mean, there's so much happening in this cathedral. And actually, next year, the AAC will be able to give you a report and you'll have some hard and fast figures that say, this is the value of a cathedral in a community. So that's what the AAC is looking to do, is to resource all of our cathedrals. It's not an easy job running a cathedral. It really isn't, when you've got the spiritual responsibility and the operational responsibility. There is financial responsibility. And if each cathedral has a toolkit, and the AAC can put some really good tools in that toolbox to make that job a little bit easier, then that's what we're here for. That's the role of the association. And the conference and the research report that we're working on at the moment will be really incredible tools, we hope.
We look forward to all the benefits that being associated with you in the Association of English Cathedrals will bring to us. Thank you to Anna Pitt and Jane Bauer of the Association of English Cathedrals, recent visitors to the island, presenting the Team Award for Cathedral Volunteers of the Year to the Big Table team, who will be serving lunch as usual in the Corrin Hall in the grounds of the Cathedral in Peel from noon tomorrow, with, as you've heard, a warm welcome for all.